Welcome to Plays and Parlays. I am your host, Wesley, along with my co-host, Mike P., and the guru, Louisiana T. Hey, today has been huge for college sports. The judge just okayed a $2.8 billion settlement for colleges to pay their players and to pay players from 2016 who didn't get a check. Schools are now free to begin paying their athletes directly, making the dawn of a new era in college sports, brought about by a multi-billion-dollar legal settlement that was finally formally approved Friday. Judge Claudia Wilken approved the deal between the NCAA, its most powerful conferences, and lawyers representing all Division I athletes. The House v. NCAA settlement ends 3 separate federal antitrust lawsuits, all of which claim the NCAA was illegally limiting the earning power of college athletes. What do you guys think about this? I mean, what they're saying, this is kind of the background of it. They're going to be paying out a $2.8 billion to take care of athletes over the next 10 years from 2016 till now. And then also they've allowed a 20.5 or something like that salary cap for teams to be able to pay their players directly, along with NIL and whatever other endorsement deals these guys have. So it's going to be real money in college. What do you think about that, Louisiana?
It's about time, in my opinion, man. I think they owe these players a lot of money. I think a lot of us look back when we played and said, "Hey, I wish," kind of thing, right? So yeah, I think this is huge for the game going forward. Don't get me wrong. I think NIL stuff like that, it still needs things that need to be worked out as far as transfer and all that kind of stuff too. But when it comes to the money in general, it's about time. And I'm kind of surprised it's not more, if I'm being honest, really? As far as going back more.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, how far would you go back with something like that? I mean, I understand 16 is no real time. I wonder why they picked 16. What made them pick that number? With that year, I should say. Mike, what do you think about this? What's your take on this whole entire, the salary cap, then also the $2.8 billion settlement?
I love what it's turning into. You know what I mean? I agree with T. It should have been happened a long time ago. And honestly, I understand why it stopped at 2016. It's a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's a lot of players that would be getting paid. But I wish it did go back to those days. You know what I mean? Like for people that was in the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Because you're dumb if you didn't think that these colleges is eating off these players. You know what I mean?
You got the 90s, you got the 80s, how far would this? I mean, this could have turned into something that was just catastrophic for college sports. If they made the money, they invested it somewhere. They've made residuals off this already. So I mean, it's there. But what do you think about that?
I mean, in reality, like I said, it's just too much money to be given out as far as going all the way back like that. Most of these players that were in those times that were big, they made it somewhere into the league, and they were able to eat off of it. It was just a messed up game. It was the system that was supposed to be broken, and it finally got broken into. You know what I mean? Like, so I like what the future is holding, and shout out to everybody that's from 2016 that's already in the league or didn't get to go in the league, and they get a compensation of whatever they are owed. You know what I mean? This has always been a system as far as them eating off of these players, like, and not showing them their worth. Even with, like I said, with the video games and stuff like that. They were making video games for a long time. The only reason why they stopped all those years was because the players were complaining that they're not getting paid for these things.
O'Bannon twins, the ones got that taken care of. They're going to end up getting that name, image, and likeness came from the O'Bannon twins. They're played for UCLA. You guys, I don't know if you guys have heard of them or not, but they're the ones who got that money for the NIL deals. Because of that, they were using their name, image, and likeness on sports games, and they kind of that's what brought about that big part of the deal. On top of that, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
That was also the reason why the game was stopped for so long. You know what I mean? They stopped in 2013 with NCAA 14. That was when it stopped. Wow, Too many complaints. Everybody's mad because it's just like, man, y'all eating off of us. Nobody got not one player on these NCAA games back then got paid. Not one.
Can you imagine Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, freaking Cam, all those guys from the SEC, the big quarterbacks in the early 2000s, like how much they would have made off of this? Like it's crazy.
And that's why I like what these people are doing now. Like where as far as college players have agents now. You know what I'm saying? They have all of these things set up, and with these new college games that came out, it's been 12 years since the last college game came out and this one came out. And when people like a lot of people play, it's the ultimate team. It's not just the current players. You have the Team Tebow on there.
Yeah.
You have the Michael Vick,
the Bo Jacksons.
You know what I mean? You have the Deion Sanders. You have all of these old players. So there's, in a sense, they're not getting paid through NIL, but they're getting paid through other things that they deserve to get paid for. You know what I'm saying? This is a new era. There was a lot of things that players in the NBA back in the day weren't getting paid as much as these players is now. You know what I mean? So it's just
I almost feel like I heard, and that's a good point, but it's also like they prosecute these kids if they did anything. If they went out and got a burger from a booster, they got hit for that. You know what I mean? And they I mean, you got to look at guys like Reggie Bush had his Heisman taken for.
He still needs, and he still deserves it back.
That's crazy.
He deserves it back. After all of this,
yeah.
Go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, after all of this, like showing, like even right now with all the agents and them getting paid and all this and that, I feel like he has the right to be able to have that back. Reggie Bush was, in my opinion, the greatest running back in college with all of that, man. That man was a dog.
Big statement. It's a big statement. That's a big statement. You got to remember the Barry Sanders. You got to remember. You see, you're younger. So I'm going to give you.
All right, I'll say it like this. I'll rephrase it. In my era, you know what I mean.
I agree with that.
You got guys out there, man, that were beast.
In my era, Reggie Bush was a dog. He was somebody that's unforgettable. Can't nobody ever downplay that man's career in college.
Absolutely.
And he deserves to have that award, especially with everything that's happening now. Y'all took this man Heisman because he was getting paid, because they paid him for his talent, because they seen his worth and they did what they deserved.
Which he deserved. You know, exactly. So T, let me ask you this quick question. So what are we thinking about? How are they going to disperse this $20.5 million or whatever it is? How are they going to disperse that amongst their players? Of course, quarterback's going to get, he's going to eat first. Then you're going to have your offensive line. You got other things that kind of eat second, third. You know how it goes. How do you split that up amongst your players and make it make sense?
Before you answer that real quick,
go ahead, Mike.
Is that the salary cap? You said that's the salary cap?
Salary cap. That's what they're going to be. They're going to be capping the Division I teams who enter into this. That's their salary cap, but they're also going to keep NIL. They're also going to keep other endorsement deals outside there. So if a guy's
basically they got contracts for them now, basically.
Okay.
It's kind of turned into the minor league, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Direct payment. So how do you think that if you're a team, how do you think this is going to play out for teams? I mean, you got $20.5 million a year that you can go ahead and divvy up to your players. On top of which these collectives are giving. These collectives are already giving them millions. So these kids some of these kids are going to make money like professional NFL players are making right now. You're going to be able to make more money than your rookie contract. Most rookie not all. Depends on your first round pick. You're in the top 5, whatever. That's different. But you can give a kid $8, $9, $10 million or better a year right now. I'm not saying they're going to get that out of that, but on top of a collective, you got to look at what Shador and those guys are getting over there. They're making some real money.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I think coming into it, right, whenever they're first coming into the team, whether they're a starter or not, I feel like if they're going to go by the star system that they have on max preps, things like that. I mean, Mike knows how this works, man. Yeah. That you have that star. So if you're a 5-star coming out of high school, you're probably going to get a nice little piece of that as far as that salary cap, right?
That sucks almost. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to tell you why, because that system is flawed and rigged. I know. They look what they did to Julian Lewis. Juju, I don't know if you guys heard of Julian Lewis. The quarterback just went to Colorado. Colorado fan, full disclosure.
Right?
Yeah. He was a 5-star. He was a 5-star athlete. Then when he signed to Colorado, they dropped him down to a 4-star.
Yep.
I think that system should not be, and that's just my personal opinion. They should not use that. I mean, it's hard not to, though, I guess. It was very, because what other litmus test are you going to prove?
I think coming into it, they'll do it. I don't think once they solidify themselves with the team, they'll keep it that way.
You know what it sounds like it was going to happen with that, though, too? There's going to be it's going to be rigged. I mean, you're going to be able to pay for play with that system. Say they even use the best of 3, like they do in like elections. Not to they use the best of. It's like a clear choice of all the different the different ones that you have trust in, the different systems, right? And you use it like that. But somebody's going to be able to pay those systems in order to get their star right. Hey, I got you for this. I'll sign to this agent here to get this taken care of, to help get my stars up to here. It's going to be a tough system to kind of get around right there, because you know how this will go. If it's
think starting, it's going to be the hardest point, man. Starting, it's going to be hard. And but like I said, I think that's going to be the intro system. I don't think that's what they're going to stick with by any means, but I think that's how they kind of have to
look at it. Yeah. That's just exactly how we have to look at it. It's a start. Right now, like I said, I'm happy for the players that's getting paid. The people who are really getting the most bread right now are the players who used to play with the $2.8 billion that's going out. 20 million. When you think about it, 20 million. So say the stars of the team are at least they touching some bread. They gonna touch some bread. There's a chance that these people, there's a cat that you don't know that's gonna be sitting on the sidelines. No, don't play at all. That man might just only get a 30K check. You know what I'm saying? You never really know what they're gonna do with it. Most of this money though is gonna go to the people who gonna bring that money in. There's mad players that ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna get.
Go ahead. I'm almost thinking that, like, when it looks like, is this across all sports or just football? You know what I mean? It's not just saying athletes right here on here. You know what I mean?
I think it's all sports combined. So that's what I'm saying. I think they're giving them a certain salary cap that they can actually use with the 20 million. But
that's
other stuff's going to still be coming through.
If it's all around, because I didn't think about it that way. Yeah. I'm only looking at football. If it's around, if it's for basketball, say it's for basketball, them boys is going to be eating. Them boys is going to be eating. There ain't that many players on a basketball team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing of it is, though, how do you allocate? Of course, I know how I would allocate. You're going to allocate to who brings in the most money.
Yeah.
What sport brings in the most money and who ain't bringing in nothing?
Yeah.
You ain't really getting too much around here. You're going to go ahead and get whatever left over.
Right.
That's who I'm giving to to the lacrosse team and whoever else is going on. I'm not knocking lacrosse. Great sport. But you probably ain't bringing in as much money as a 100,000 seat football stadium is over here. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, even with that $2.8 billion, that's going to be dispersed across all athletes. I know it's going to be hopefully they have it set up to where whoever was a bigger star, demanded more star power, will get a little bit more. But that $2.8 billion is going across a lot of sports. You got to look how many different sports there are in college. A lot. If I'm on the debate, I'm saying I'm a sport. If I'm on the debate team, I'm calling this sport right now. Like, hold up, man. We're a sport. I'm going to need my check. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. And there's just a lot that goes into all that. So, I mean, it's a great thing. But I thought the $20 billion was going strictly for football, which, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to probably spend 70% of it on football.
Oh, maybe 60, it depends on what school, right? If you're talking about basketball schools like Kentucky or Duke or something like that, then you're going to probably primarily be using it for your 2 to 3 big, massive stars, right? And then if you go to UConn, you're looking at women's basketball, right? And then there's certain. It's just it depends on school completely.
I feel like they're gonna have it. They're gonna have it structured a certain way. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a league minimum, basically. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a minimum that you can give a player to where it's not looking hella unfair, but you know what I mean? And there's going to be people who have basically a max, but they probably won't call it a max. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just know who getting paid and who not. You know what I mean? But each sport. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so it makes a lot of sense, where this is all kind of heading right now. But I want to see how it plays out. It's a new kind of a thing generally for schools to be able to directly pay athletes. But I'm wondering, at the end of the day, how they're going to divvy it up. I think they'll come up with something that makes sense for themselves, but it's a start, and I'm very happy for the athletes because we've seen them getting screwed over for a very, very long time.
Big push forward. Push forward.
And this is Plays and Parlays. We'll see you next time.